Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're on episode 4 of my career. This is a very good result for us at the end, but you'll have to wait to the end to see. Please don't skip through the video, and see you guys at the grid. Max Verstappen wins his first Grand Prix of the season as we get P7. Here's a view of the finish line. With everyone behind us, we were super close together. That's Sergio Perez right there. P7, which is... After a very good performance for OP Comics, he is thirsty for a podium with his team. Max Verstappen wants to win his second Grand Prix, making him tied with the young Charles Leclerc in his Ferrari.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku City Circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and starting alongside is Lucas Faber. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Norris, Sebastian Vettel and Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell, Kvyat and Pierre Gasly, Kubica, Bottas, the captain and Albon, Butler, Sainz, Lance Stroll and Nico Hülkenberg. Raikkonen, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, we're here down the track now. We're going to change up our thing for a 2-stop with 2 soft compounds and 1 medium compound to make it a faster race for us. Okay, as now we are starting the race as DRS is not allowed until lap 3. So here we get a worse start than Valtteri Bottas, but a better start than the person behind us, which is Alex Albon. We dive on the inside of Kubica, we make contact with the wall and him. Surprised we don't lose any damage, lose any of our front wing right there. We almost make contact with the Frenchman of Pierre Gasly, as that is George Russell in front of us. Somebody comes off behind us, but neither does. Here's a different perspective of that start. Yes, here we go. Sergio Perez actually gets a really good start right there, as there's Pierre Gasly getting a move on the car in front of him, as there's us making contact with the wall and Kubica, and you can see us gaining on Pierre Gasly and then almost making contact. Here as we go, trying to go on the outside of Pierre Gasly, we brake a little bit early, but we still get the move done without making contact with the Frenchman. As up next is the Brit of George Russell in his Rocket Williams car, which is a way better car now. As now we're pulling away from the Frenchman of Pierre Gasly as we slide a little bit on that turn, and he catches back up to us, but he will fall back. As now here we go to try to pass George Russell, but it doesn't work because we're too close together. As here we go into turn 8, which is one of the hardest turns of the season. And now we are going on to a kind of a straight because we have 2 flat-out turns. Now, that is, I think, Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen in front of. It's Daniel Kvyat, my teammate, in front of George Russell right there, as we're in P10 and he's in P8. Hoping we can pass him because we are the first driver right now. As now we go down into the slingshot, which is an all-out turn, all-out 2 turns again. And we're trying to catch up to the Brits of George Russell in the Rocky Williams car, and our teammate Daniel Kvyat, make some contact with George Russell, but don't make contact with our teammate, but almost do. Go on the outside of them both, make contact with our teammates, make contact with the wall too, but we get the move done without a warning. Here's another view of that on a very weird view though, because I was on the side. You see us making a lot of contact with that wall. As here we are now going down a straight, as we can see Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton going at it, but Max Verstappen is still behind him. As here on lap 5, Max Verstappen in the Mercedes car is 2 seconds in front of us. So he has a way faster car, so it might just be a P8 for us, or maybe a P7. Probably nothing more than that, so it won't be another Bahrain. We will pit within a couple more laps as we're pulling away from George Russell in his Rock Williams car and Daniel Kvyat, my teammate. As here are going into the pits on lap 7 of 26 of this Grand Prix. Just get it slowed down and enough before we get a penalty. As here we go to get our another soft compound tires. As we have a 2.2 second pit, as George Russell comes in with us, and so does Nico. Actually, no, George Russell didn't come with us. That's Nico Hülkenberg in the Mercedes right there behind us, as Sainz in his Renault doing very good at this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. As behind us, our teammates in the pits, we're coming on the pit straight. So we'll get a jump on him because we're on the better compounded tires. He might pit for the hards or might have two pit stops. As here are catching up to Carlos Sainz in his Renault, but not fast enough. As here we are now going into turn 7 of 10 turns at this Grand Prix, and here we are going into turn 8 right behind Sebastian Vettel. Almost made contact. Actually, we do make contact with that right wall. But we almost made contact with Sebastian Vettel too. But we get the move done. But we stay behind Sebastian Vettel and don't get passed by Carlos Sainz in his Renault, which is gaining on us. Here we go through a slingshot, really catching up on Sebastian Vettel, but we have some oversteer on that slingshot. As here we are having a double toe, almost made contact with the German in his Alfa Romeo car. Make contact with Robert Kubica, as now we're going on the outside of the German, and we are now up in the P8 of 19. I have no clue who's out of the race right now. As here we are behind Verstappen in his Mercedes car, going down the second long straight. As here we go into turn 3. And we get the job done around the outside without making contact with Max Verstappen in his Mercedes car. Here's another view from the highlights camera. As there we go. He does make contact with the wall because we squeeze him. As now Sebastian Vettel, Sainz is now behind us in P8. As we're behind Lewis Hamilton. And it's lap 12 now, going on to lap 13. Are we going to pass him in the pits? Devin Butler is in the pits, my engineer says, and we are going to pass Devin Butler in the pits. As now we're going on to lap 14. We're still on lap 13, but at the end of it. As here we're going almost past the finish line here. As we're going to pass somebody to the pits.
We're going to box this lap, push hard on the inside.
And we're going to box this lap too. So there is Lucas Weber behind us now. So we're now in P5, but probably not going to stay in this position for too long. As here we go, coming on to the final couple turns until we go into our second pit and our final pit of this Grand Prix. For the medium compound tires, brake a little bit late, still go pretty well, and we slow the car just down in time again to not get a penalty. As here we go into the pits to go into the medium compound tires. It will be a 2.04 second pit, so that's not too bad. As George Russell comes right up in front of us, and Darren Kvyat, our teammates, he's right behind us as we almost pass the white line and get a penalty, but we do not. And we hit the right wall right there, get some contact, but we are still going to be not good in this race. George Russell, right here in his Rocky Williams car, is now getting really close to us. As here we go on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. It's been a short one, but it will always be one of the most exciting ones. As here we go on to one of the long straights here. We're catching up to George Russell in his Rocky Williams car. We're going to pass him on the last lap of the Grand Prix, on the third corner too. As here we're behind Devin Butler, but he's too far away for us to catch. Almost make contact with that left wall right there at turn 4. As here we go on to turn 5 and 6 here at this Grand Prix. Going on to turn 7 up here after this long straight. You're pulling away from George Russell in his Rocky Williams car. Toro Rosso is apparently a better car now than the Rocky Williams car, or just really close. As we go into turn 8 and some more turns right there too. And now we're going on to the couple flat out turns until you can corner cut this turn upcoming here really a lot. Charles Leclerc gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he wins. Max Verstappen did not get the best result as he wanted to, though. Here comes the second flag. I don't know why Jeff's saying this because it's the last lap of the Grand Prix. Here we're coming on to the final 3 turns. This is 1, 2, and here we go. The last turn right here. Onto the pit straight, and we are going to get P7 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Really well. Super driving.
Here's a different view from that too. Whilst passing the finish line, you can see the guy waving the flag right there. Rock Williams car right there too. Charles Leclerc wins this Grand Prix. He really deserves that. As now we go into end the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on a high note for getting P7 and not in the points paying positions, as me and Daniel get points paying positions. Lucas Weber finishes 5th in his racing points.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top.
It looks like Lando Norris got second and Lewis Hamilton got third. He really deserved that win because he got cheated out of it at China for DNFing, making contact with Lando and then DNFing.
The driver's
here, let's review the standings.
The championship standings, extends his
Charles
lead even
is
further with this
leading
result.
the standings, but we are now P8 in the standings, right on front of our teammates, Daniel Kvyat in P9. So we are going to try to make some more moves. Well, it's looking like the Constructors' Championship. We're still 5th in the championship, but we're catching up to Mercedes in racing points because not racing point, we're catching up to Mercedes. So hoping to finish 4th or 3rd. Best of the rest or in the best. As here we go. Well, we get an interview by Claire. We do get an interview by Claire.
Let's have your thoughts. Devin did much better in today's race than he did in qualifying. Were you expecting that?
He was, I was kind of expecting it, yes. He did a really good job.
Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash?
I was very lucky not to end my race with that crash.
Well, thanks anyway.
You're welcome. So we're contract negotiate with Toro Rosso because it's the 4th race. This year we're gonna get that level 3 for the upgrades. And you're also gonna get level 3 here. So we want to say the first driver though, because we are the better driver.
They aren't coming round to that proposal.
Okay,
Let's
we
try
have to
something
switch
else.
things up. We're probably gonna just maybe put that qualifying down a little bit. Down to 15th, so we just make a 1 position to 14th, but we probably will
Proposal has
finish
been
in
accepted.
points position.
The new contract will take effect from the
We are
next race.
still at Toro Rosso for the next 4 races.
What do you think of this one?
Let's develop our car into a better car here with the R&D points that we got from that race in qualifying. We are now fourth to last or 6th, but see you guys next time. Goodbye.